from the Pan-African Daily TV, and welcome to another edition. And this one, a very special one. I hope all of you are already bouncing into the 2021. Today is the second Saturday in the first year on the calendar month, January 2021. Now, I know that you guys have been celebrating, enjoying the new year. I've seen a lot of messages, and the whole Facebook and social media is going really, really crazy about the Happy New Year wishes. I mean, we understand where all these feelings and sensations are coming from. A lot of people and Africans and even humans worldwide are just happy to be alive at this point in time, and they're stepping into this new year, the first everyone is looking so excited. I want to welcome all of you that will be joining us live tonight for us to share this incredible human being, this young Africans with big, big brains, and like you can get up and like, what would make a young person follow a leader? What would make him actually take his time to be an impersonator or to just imitate him or to mimic from gesture, from his postures, from the articulations, from the accent, to even the body language? This young guy sitting here, Vincent Mseri, is performing a Kenyan artist that is just crazy about a Pan-African leader on the continent, Professor PLO Lumumba, whom we all know. I know you all Kenyans are absolutely proud of this young man. I know that Africans are so damn proud about him because he's been going so viral. He's been going viral, and we can see a lot, going on the social media about Vincent. I've just gone through his Facebook page, and I see a lot of streaming on and huge platforms actually being so excited to stream Vincent and to share his posts, and everyone is incredible proud of these young brains that we have on the continent. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy from wherever you're joining us tonight. This is a special edition, and I decided extraordinary to start it on the second with a young Pan-African. Why? Because as we all know, this is the decade. We're just in the new decade, and we're giving power. We're just giving power to the young people. We are saying it is time for you young Africans to take up the banner and to build the Africa that we want. We know that you can. We're giving you all the instruments and all the knowledge and all the power and all the tools you need to be able to liberate yourselves in Africa and to own the continent that belongs to you and your ancestors, and God, even Most High, gave it to you as your possession. So I want to start by greeting you that you're watching. I know most of you will be watching this stream from the PLO Lumumba page, and it is an honor because this is a son, this is an incarnation, a lifetime, once in a lifetime, a miniature of PLO Lumumba. And so it is an honor to welcome all you Kenyans watching us from any platform around the world, but also it is of immense, I just want to say what an honor. We're so humble that Africans in East Africa region are so damn proud of this young man. But of course, I went through these statistics. It's not only about you Kenyans, it's not only about East Africans, it's really about the West, the South, the North, and the diaspora. It's about African people worldwide that are looking forward to this kind of genius, this kind of talent, this kind of rare gem that we have on the continent. And so it's all about Pan-Africanism. And so it doesn't matter whether Vincent is coming from Kenya, he's an African. He's an African, and he's representing the biggest voice of Pan-Africanism on the continent. So ladies, gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this show. Good. I know we have 2.5, I don't really know, hours to go on this show. And so we want to find out the story about this great performing artist, how he got motivated into this. Who is he, of course. And on the Pan-African Daily TV, I don't introduce my guests. They introduce themselves. They tell us how they came into their inspiration and to doing what they're doing. Okay. And so You all know who we are and you know how we do it. So I'm so excited tonight. I hope you will be so patient to digest all what Vincent has got to give to us tonight to educate and inform us and to build us and to build the Pan African, one Africa that we want for its children and its young people. So, our topic for today is resilience and brains. Resilience and brains. The story behind the greatest PLO Lumumba's voice impersonator. That is our topic for today. And we want to know all about Vincent Mseri from Kenya. Okay, but so we the program is going to go like we're going to watch the three prominent videos, the viral one, and what is the impact or the what is it that he had about all these three production. And he just launched one today, which is a New Year's speech. I know you guys are so excited, but I know particularly in the three videos, there's something so really huge and important about it. And it's talking about Arsenal. I think he's a very great fan. I don't know why he didn't talk about the Kenyan football team or any African, but why Arsenal? So we're going to find out all this from Vincent Seri and in just a moment. So we'll be watching the videos and analyzing them. And then at the end of the conversation, we want to get Kenyans out there represent and also Amos Oyango, the PA of the Professor PLO Lumumba Foundation, what they all think about this new genius and talent. Is there a possibility that they collaborate or they say we Kenyans from Lu, I mean the village of Professor PLO Lumumba, and which Vincent also happened to be a son of the Lu. What is so particular about these people? We want to know more about them. And tonight is the night. I thank you for joining in. If you are here for the first time, please make sure you just click the subscribe button, and because you get notification each time Dr. Susan is on the Pan African Daily, isn't it? So please click the notification button where you are. And also, one of the criteria that we have here to support the Pan African Daily TV and us to reach young people on the continent and in the diaspora, what do? When we come on a live show? We share. We share the link and invite our brothers and sisters. We don't want to be selfish. We want to build a collective Africa that works for African people, that works for young people that you are. So let's go. Good. I'll be getting back to studio, and I hope I've been able to warm you up to give you a little bit background of what we'll be doing here today. And I can already see on this platform, a lot of people already watching, and particularly on the Professor PLO Lumumba platform, and where Kenyans are really just jogging and like, this is our day, this is our time, and we are the owners of Africa, isn't it? Good evening, Vincent. How you doing?
Let me begin by saying how glad I am to be offered such an amazing platform. Indeed, it gladdens my heart to recognize you, Dr. Susan Tata, who has been so instrumental to bring me in this platform. Thank you.
Oh my God. I mean, if I wasn't sitting here in studio with you, Vincent, I am 100% convinced that I was just talking to Professor PLO Lumumba. And that is the spirit on the Pan African Daily TV tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, happy New Year to all of you and our guests and the family out there that is joining in to watch this exclusive edition with our guest tonight. Wow. I mean, wait, tell me, how do you do that, Vincent? Tell your audience.
Well, firstly, my name is Vincent Mseri. I am a Kenyan performing artist. That is not my voice. That is PLO Lumumba's voice. This is my voice. Yeah. And so, how I do my impersonations, I'm not so very sure, but I usually do a lot of research, and I watch a lot of PLO Lumumba speeches. I guess I've watched over almost 100 plus. I almost watch every on a daily basis around 10 speeches. Just watch them for fun. At times I watch them to hear what message he wants to portray. At times I just like hearing his voice and just how he does. I think apart from his intellect and all, he's an artist as well.
Mhm.
That is my thinking, because the way he crafts his speeches and the way he delivers them, it's not normal.
Mhm.
It's not a normal way of doing their speeches. So basically, that's what motivates me to to keep on listening to him over and over. Apart from other deep-rooted things or motivating factors that made me really follow PLO Lumumba up to date ever since I was young.
All right. Have you ever met him in person?
No, I've only been into several locations where he was making or he was giving lectures and speeches. And actually, the first time I encountered him was way back in the year 2010. At that time, I was in high school. I was in my final year in high school, and I was representing the then Eastern Province in the Kenya National Students Council.
Mhm.
And so he was there and he was delivering a speech, and I was sitting in the audience. And while he was delivering his speech, I memorized his speech naturally from how he was speaking. I did not get his lines, but I got almost a quarter of his introduction by just listening to him. And it has never been erased from my mind. I still remember the speech way back in 2010.
Okay, because you said something that, this character and this personality is an artist.
Mm.
Like, you think that the way he presents the speech is not the way he would speak on normal basis?
Not on a, that is him. That is him in his way of doing things. But there are two ways on how Dr. PLO Lumumba speaks. If you listen to him when he's making, let's say, an opinion over something, maybe it's an interview, and when he's making a speech, they are almost two. They are almost different. Only that the speech is a bit. What would I say? It's a bit artistic, you know. But it is okay. It's a way of doing public speaking, and I love it so much.
Okay, for those of you that are joining us, I just saw Kofi asking who is Vincent. Vincent Mseri is a performing Kenyan artist that imitates Professor PLO Lumumba's voice. Ever since he was a kid, he's the biggest fan of Professor PLO Lumumba. And today we have him live on the show because we want to know the story about this incredible young guy that speaks like Professor PLO Lumumba. We're going to watch a couple of videos that he's been making, and they've gone so viral. At the moment, Vincent Mseri is the most celebrity on the continent in terms of performing art, and it is an incredible way of us starting this new year with young people like this that are following the kind of role models that we have on the continent. And so, yes, that is who he is. Good. And if you're joining the show, please, yes, I salute all of you. And I see you watching from Ethiopia. You say you're watching from Ethiopia and all over. Thank you so very much. Yes, this is Queen Efwa, Queen Efwa Tata. And I see Kofi always just putting that. Kofi, don't worry, I'll be a Nana soon, okay? And yeah, I'll be a Nana soon. So good. Coming back to us, we would like to watch a couple of videos, like the first one that um, Vincent did, and then we would get some commentaries and like people that are just joining. You don't have an idea who this big artist is, but we're gonna watch the first video that he did, and that earned him a lot where he is today, and he'll be continuing to do it. So let us watch the video that our big artists and our young people just did. imitating Professor PLO Lumumba. Let's go.
Holidays, I have been
of my
persuaded
words,
to take
that I
back some
reiterated
of my
in my
words,
first
that
submission
I
about us.
reiterated in my first submissions about Arsenal. And as we begin the new year, in order to do justice to the subject, I wish to humbly and solemnly submit to the Arsenal fraternity that I will not apologize. I will not apologize, Arsenal, for 2 wins are not benevolent enough to take you out of the morass that you are in. The reality is that the poverty of cups in Arsenal is glory to some teams like Manchester United. Losing is an industry, a big industry, and there are those who want Arsenal to continue to wallow in losing and relegation because it is their safest bet to their continued benefit. The day we'll wake up to this reality, then we can have a new year. I am sick and tired of scrolling, looking for Arsenal. Where are we? Where are we in the food chain, Arsenal? Are we on the top of the food chain? Are we in the middle of the food chain? Or are we at the bottom of the food chain? Are we ready to eat or are we ready to be eaten? As always, answer me.
Okay. we just we got just a little bit a tip of the iceberg on this performance artist. What was your motivation, Vincent? Tell me about this.
um, well, let's say the video that I did today was only motivated by Arsenal.
Okay.
You see, Arsenal has been underperforming for so many seasons, and including this season, they are now at number 14. Arsenal, which is an English Premier League team. And so I have very many friends who are Arsenal fans. I am not an Arsenal fan, but I have so many Arsenal fans, friends who are Arsenal fans. So I love making fun of them. So that is my main motivation. And when I make fun of them, they go quiet, they get irritated. So that's what makes me so happy when I see them frustrated.
Okay. All right. So it was just like you use the voice every video that you want. And so, but what do Professor PLO Lumumba represent to you as a role model?
Well, firstly, when I was young, I the first time I saw Professor PLO Lumumba, I knew I wanted to be like him. From a very tender age, I knew I really wanted to be like him. So in high school, when I started performing public speaking, I was somehow being motivated to become like Professor PLO Lumumba.
Okay.
And so when we went for the National Students Council in Nairobi, it was the first time I saw him, and it was the first time I memorized his speech by listening. I don't know how that happened, but it just came down, and I felt him. And the reason why also I really feel what he says, because he does it from his heart.
Mhm.
And also as an individual, when I do my art, I also do it from my heart.
Mhm.
Like art, you cannot do anything artistic if you really want to your art to go outside there. It has to come from the heart.
Mhm.
It really has to come from the heart. And then um, I would also say it also has something to do with my late dad. Uh, my late dad was also a champion of social justice, and he was also a great champion of anti-corruption.
Mhm.
And so he also inspired me a lot. And he happened to have traveled the world, and he really motivated me. And I wanted to be like him. And through him, I also wanted to be like PLO Lumumba. You see, because I wanted to be a champion of justice. And in school, actually in high school, I was once expelled from high school because I was a leader in campaigning for social change in school, and we were somehow were expelled for reasons that were not okay. We were falsely accused of torching the school, so we got expelled. So when we got expelled, after some time, they investigated and they realized that we were innocent. So they brought us back to the same school, but they dismissed the principal. And that is the first time now I started performing, really performing as a performing artist after I came back from being expelled. Because when I was in high school, what I was championing for is uh, equal rights for students, and I was championing for the rights of the students only by speaking. I was not violent. I only believed in speaking, and I used to do a lot of public speaking in assemblies and in the various platforms, in journalism club, in law club. There was all those clubs. And so after I came back to school, I remember I was told that my disciplinary file had been taken to the provincial director of education so that I may not go to any school around. It was a very malicious move to, I don't know why, but I guess whenever you become a champion of social change, at some point you become a victim of circumstance. For
Correct.
instance, I remember Professor Pedro Lumumba when he was the chair of the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission. There was a time people were really trolling him, and there were many instances that he became a victim of circumstances. And I believe it happens to everyone. And so um, my comedy, despite of it being comedy, it has some deep-rooted what did I say, spirit in it. That's why I do it from within. And I guess that is why also it has gone viral, though I was not expecting it. I was just doing it for my Kenyan fans.
Okay, you touch a point that is very relevant, particularly in terms of justice and social justice. Now you look at the continent, the way it's going for young people. What is your impression? What is the future that you see for young people on the continent with a situation, where freedom of speech or expression is actually one of the taboos, and particularly young people like you being the voices and being followed by many. When you look at your followers and how this video has gone viral, what do you think? What is the reason that you think that people are beginning to follow you? Is it because of the speech, or because of the voice, or because of what you stand for?
I think it's a combination of all.
Yeah.
But on the question that you asked about justice and social change in Africa, I tend to think that we are not way badly off, but young people in Africa, and especially, let me speak for us here in Kenya, we people are somehow tired of politics. We usually don't really enjoy politics nowadays because it is too much. We believe it's fulfill. It is too much. We are too much oppressed. But I think if we can have a voice, because indeed we can, if we can gang up together, if you may, we may bring a lot of social change as young people, because I have friends who have huge following, who are comedians, musicians, and if they can campaign for social change, for instance, in our country, Kenya, to elect the right leaders through their platforms, it will work magic.
All right.
Indeed, it will.
Yeah, but you see that there's no collaboration or there's no platform that unite the voices together to speak on one topic, or to articulate the needs of the young people, and the fact that all these issues about corruption, bad leadership, the need for good governance, and also for young people to start thinking forward and not just only dancing in a circle of talking about these leaders, what they do, but to take their lives into their hands and make something useful out of it. Now, what I understand is a platform where all these voices can unite together to speak the story of Africa, right?
Yes, indeed, indeed, and this indeed it's a great platform. If only, before my video went viral, I did not really know about this specific platform that have been offered here, about if we can unite as Africans, young people, and if we can have such platforms, and specifically for young people to express themselves, because see, the older generation is what is trying to oppress the young people so that our voice cannot be heard, and so that they can remain relevant, and they can also remain being the oppressors. For example, like what is happening in Uganda.
Yeah.
We've all been seeing Bobby Wine has been really been frustrated. Yet he's a young man. Actually, he's an artist, you see, and his art is what brought him to the limelight first. And then he used his art to bring social change in Uganda. And you've seen the kind of impact that he has made. So I believe if art can be used to bring social change, it will have a great impact in Africa.
Absolutely. I also think so. Even though it's so sad, I really would tell you, it is so sad that the unity that we're looking for in Africa is still not, it is still on its baby stage. Because if you raise the question of Bobby Wine, shouldn't it have been a platform where all other artists, just in terms of solidarity, in that context of an artist that is trying to bring social change, is trying to be a leader, it is doing everything, is succumbing to all sort of tortures and malicious act from this president and from this government, isn't it the right time that artists around the continent mobilize themselves actually to give that kind of a backup? Where do you think the problem is? Do you think that Africans see Bobby Wine and Uganda just like Uganda's problem, or it is something that concerns us as Africans worldwide, particularly on the continent?
Well, as I had said earlier, I think young African artists don't like, let's say, politics. They they are just not interested in social change in such an let me say, in such a manner as Bobby Wine is doing in Uganda. And so, but I believe we are getting somewhere if slowly and slowly people can start to be coerced slowly and slowly to see the need for African artists to unite for social change, and individual change in individual countries, I mean, that will be a very great thing, because artists really have power. Musical artists, comedians, actors, and actresses. Like like in Kenya, what is happening right now? Our film industry is really growing, and the films that are being produced like films that are campaigning for social change, and in a good way, and they are really influencing. People are beginning to enjoy local content in our country so very much, because there people have started. There has been a lot of support from the private sector and the government, and also the Kenya Film Classification Board. They have also come together to support the production of local content, and the production of local content. People have started to see their stories. They have started to believe in their stories, which is something that in Africa has been quite difficult. We don't believe in our stories. Yet I usually say that our story, listen, my story is my heritage.
Yes.
You cannot take away my story from me. My story is only mine. However you or wherever you take it, it will still remain my story. So if Africa, we can start speaking about our story and dealing with our pertinent issues right here in Africa, indeed it will be something that be so grateful for.
Okay, yes. We would watch another video, particularly the video that made Vincent Mseri go viral. That is one of the biggest videos that he did. And I'm telling you, this video is like a boomerang. But before we go to that, I want to salute all those that are joining us today, and say the topic is resilience and brains. This young man sitting here, Vincent Mseri, is an impersonator, a performing artist from Kenya. All he's been putting out in this short time are videos imitating the voice of Professor PLO Lumumba, whom he considers as a role model, and in terms not just because of the voice, but also the message and the wake-up call that he's been able to transform young African people to have, young Africans, sorry, and Africans worldwide, to have, the knowledge of self, the pride, the uniqueness, to stand up and speak the stories of their ancestors, of their continent, and also to build the Africa that we want. So, ladies and gentlemen, join us. Let us watch the video that went so viral, and it is still performing so high on the platform. I don't know, the videos keep freezing, but let's see what happens to this one. Let's go.
When the football season began, David Luiz was here, Emerick Pierre Milano Aubameyang was here, Da Silva Bourgeoisie William was here. And when we had a tete-a-tete with Arteta, the season looked very green and very decent for Arsenal. But somewhere in between, Manchester City came, Liverpool and Tottenham came, Aston Villa came, and most recently Burnley came, and Arsenal became the hunting ground for the Premier League colonizers. But the problem is wrought about in the Premier League by teams like Manchester United, who believe they are demigods and they are treating us as if we are children of a lesser god. And now that Arsenal has lost all its shine and sheen, they have introduced us to another pernicious enterprise, the Europa League, to come and shame us. But I need to be persuaded. I need to be persuaded how as Arsenal we can negotiate the holiness of the Europa League. I need to be persuaded. Persuade me. Persuade me, Emerick Milano Aubameyang, how we are going to win this league. For there is a horror. The first horror is there is a horror. And the second horror is we have to accommodate it. Persuade me, Aubameyang, all the way from Gabon, a nation that is rich in oil. If you came to help us discover the full potential of Arsenal, or you came to help us discover the same oil, I need to be persuaded. Persuade me, for as Arsenal we have become asymptomatic to the League Cups. We are showing no signs of winning any. I need to be persuaded. For Arsenal, we cannot continue fishing by climbing trees.
I mean, this is so crazy. Honestly, I keep thinking that it's the PLO that is speaking here. I mean, this is awesome. Now, tell me, this was the first video that you did and it went viral. What were the reactions?
I was actually shocked. I was actually shocked. I had to switch off my phone because I was receiving so many calls and so many messages at the same time from strangers. And I was wondering what is wrong, what is happening. Everyone is telling me you're trending, you're trending, you're trending, you're trending, you're trending. I had to switch it off. And I waited for at least 2 days for for the temperature to come down so that I may resurface. I was happy because I did not expect it to have such an impact because it actually trended worldwide, not only in Kenya or in Africa. I was receiving calls all the way from Australia. Someone is telling me that your video is trending in Australia. I was shocked.
Yes, I mean, I was also shocked. I was also shocked when that video landed on us, and I was like, "Hey, am I seeing another kind of PLO? Is it the son? Who is this to him?" But I also learned that you come from the village of Professor PLO Lumumba. Am I correct?
No, 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 no. I am totally different. I am Kenyan first, then I am Kamba. I come from Kambaland. I am half caste Kamba, half caste Taita. We come from the coast and the eastern part of Kenya.
Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
no point in that. But I mean, Vincent, come on, tell me, is it just like what do I want to say? Natural that Kenyans are just so talented and gifted, particularly when it has to do with artists. I mean, we know that there's a lot of talent out there in Kenya, and
Yes.
when you look at the industry, particularly you were talking about art, arts could be a very influential sector where young people can perform. And why not? If we look at the image of Bobby Wine, and now we are seeing that artists can also be presidents and leaders on the continent. Do you anticipate to see yourself one day president of Kenya?
Well, I wouldn't say I don't know. Well, maybe if God uh, gives me the grace to be the president, why not? If He has given me the grace to be in such a platform without me expecting, why not dream such a dream as an artist? But as I would say, the Kenyan artist industry is really growing, especially the comedy industry, and we thank people like we have Daniel Ndambuki Churchill, who has given a very great platform for so many artists, and we have so many other big artists who are really supporting young and upcoming artists.
Mhm.
And because it was an industry that was a bit suffocated for quite a while, then it is really growing. And the Kenyan audience, Kenyans love being happy. Kenyans love being happy. Kenyans joke about almost everything. They are known globally. They may joke on Twitter over anything and everything. Even in Kenya, when you have a tragedy, we joke about it. When everything, when the corona pandemic came, we were filling the internet with memes and everything. We were before. I guess it's a way of healing. It's a way it gives us healing
Mhm.
by joking about literally everything. Literally everything. That's why you saw when my video went viral, everyone was so happy, and Kenyans were really happy, saying, "This is our own. This is Kenyan. This is really Kenyan. We love this stuff." And I can see them; they are watching. They are really enjoying seeing one of their own on such a platform.
Yes, I can see from the Professor PLO Lumumba page and the other platforms that we are more than 800 are watching you right now
Yeah.
from East Africa and the other sources. This is incredible. This is wonderful. And yes, we are also excited about this new vision. And that's why we're hosting you for the first time. And on the second day of the new decade on the Pan-African Daily TV, it's an honor for us. What is significant to us is that you young people have the yam and the knife in your hands, and we give you all what it takes for you to build the Africa that you want, the Africa that we want, the Africa that works for you. And so from Cape Coast to Cairo to Kenya to all the continent and our diaspora, we are coming together to say, by hook or by fun, we are going to achieve our goals as African people worldwide. The liberation of Africans is very, very important to us. And we're starting just by uniting in every sector, be it the artists, be it the politicians, be it the farmers, or every sector on the continent and the diaspora. We're uniting to form one unique African people worldwide. Now tell me, I've been hearing a lot about words after this video went viral. What is it that you had as conversation, apart from Kenyans just being happy?
I happened to receive an award from the leading classification board of content creation in Kenya, that is the Kenya Film Classification Board, who offered me a chance to be the ambassador of clean content in Kenya.
Oh.
Yes, that is courtesy of one Dr. Ezekiel Mutua. And he has been a champion of clean content and championing for how we can produce content that can sell, that is not vulgar, nude, or explicit.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been asked to be an ambassador of the same, of which it has been a debate back in Kenya, where we have the social media, we have people who are only doing things on the social media for we call it clout chasing. So you can do anything for the sake of having followers on Instagram. You can do anything for the sake of having followers on Twitter or on Facebook. You can dress, you can do crazy stuff, all for the sake of clout. So that is what, as Kenya Film Classification Board, under the docket of Dr. Ezekiel Mutua, we are championing for no explicit content, and you're promoting clean content. For instance, like my video, I have managed to, or people have made me go viral and made me to meet such great people like you, and yet it is clean content. So that means clean content can still sell around the world. People can still appreciate content without it being explicit or vulgar.
Exactly.
And that is what it's happening for. And it is not only in Kenya, but also in Africa. And you see, when Professor PLO Lumumba talks about we need to change our mindset, it also narrows down to the same, because explicit nudity comes from the Western, mostly. We have adapted it from, it's a Western thing, that you have to be explicit, you have to show whatever, our bodies anyhow, for the sake of being an artist. Yet an artist is supposed to be a role model to many in the society. See? So that is basically what we are championing for, and I think I am up for the task to coerce. You know, you can, when you start, you can't force the people. You just need to give them reason so that they can change their mindset. If they change their mindset, then they'll change their character.
I mean, this is so unique what you're saying, because like the world, particularly, always the wrong things. We copy just the wrong things. Like you're talking about content. If you look at our content, it's not replica of who we are. Pan-Africanism these days is just like filled with, you know, with some kind of stereotypes. Artists don't really sing about their ancestors. They don't sing about the value of the continent. They don't sing about who they are. I mean, they would have to sing some kind of crap out there and just rap something that people don't really get the message. And we also have been following this kind of content that we say we're not going to change Africa. It doesn't matter whether we fill our stadiums with people who are just only about the rhythm without the message. So what you're saying about this clean content is so important. And I would really like to follow up on this, particularly the doctor and the platform that you're talking about, for us to continue to educate our people and say it is okay that we go back to the way we are, that we talk about our own things. We're still gonna go viral. We're still gonna go viral. So we have one more video, and because I'll be asking some very prominent Kenyans to join me here on the platform with you. So we want to get the feel of how Kenyans react, or Africans particularly react when they see this kind of content. A video that speaks about the value of one great personality that we have on the continent, but which is clean content representing the Africa that we want. So I would like us to watch the last video that you just made also. And I don't know what is still also about Arsenal, or what kind of content is out there. And they will be joining, Patrick Kaserim would be joining us in the studio, and Amos from the PLO Lumumba Foundation, for us to continue this conversation. So let's go.
To express how disturbed I am, as some of the Kenyan leaders are already forcing unnecessary constitutional amendments down our throats. But I must say with absolute authority that as Kenyans we have more pertinent issues to discuss. Some of us are still struggling to audition for Wives Online, while Arsenal fans are busy battling depression of Arsenal being relegated, while all of us as a nation are still being haunted by the ghost of Harambee Stars, an exercise that only requires exercise. And as Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah said, and rightly so, that imperialism never changes its character, but only the mask that it wears. While many nations are busy struggling with development, as Kenyans we are still battling jiggers in our brains. Kenyans, who bewitched us?
Yeah, Kenyans who bewitch us. What was it about? I mean, when I watched it, I laughed at the end. Like, we've heard this most of the time. Africans who bewitch us. Is
Yeah.
it about the mindset?
Yes, it's about just about the mindset. You know what is happening. For instance, in Kenya, we were complaining about there is a movement that is called the BBI, that is the Building Bridges Initiative, that they were forcing down our throats, and it was at a time where we are all struggling to, we are all struggling economically. We are really struggling with the COVID-19 crisis, and people are broke, people are broken, and yet they are coming to tell us that they want us to now to sign a document that is they are forcing it as to be constitutional, which is something that is not constitutional. It is only for their own benefits. You see, and the same video actually. Okay, the same concept that I took from PLO Lumumba's video when he was asking, he needs to be persuaded. I guess you remember, you have seen such a video.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
they were saying he needs to be persuaded how we can do 1, 2, 3. It's the same thing that was happening. I was actually asking Kenyans, who breached us? We are being forced to do this, being forced to do this. Yet we have more pertinent issues to discuss. And the humor came in when I said, including Arsenal is being relegated, they're depressed. We need to talk about Arsenal in this case, you see. But it was just the humorous part of it. But in real sense, we are really talking about the real issues that were affecting us at the time. And they still are. But who are we? We have no voice, or we have a voice, but we are afraid to speak it out. Yeah.
Okay, good. So joining us in the studio is Patrick Kasarim. Patrick, good evening. Patrick?
Yes, yes, yes.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, welcome. And today we have you live, and everything is looking so good from a point. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can get you loud and clear.
That's very good. Now you have Vincent Mseri, your brother from Kenya, sitting here. What do you know about him, and how much has this viral video and his performances influenced you and I think Kenyans as a whole or Africans?
Yes, yes. The first time I saw that video, I was so shocked. I was so surprised, and I was moved. In fact, yeah, this video clearly depicts that Africa is moving in the right direction because you'll notice that even young generation are coming up with different talents to ensure that we spearhead this spirit of Pan-Africanism. So its videos, Vincent Mseri's videos, went viral here in Kenya, and in fact, it was on a Saturday at a time when we had this Premier League, this international games. So it went viral. So you'll discover that it's through this speech that most Kenyans and even people around the world were so much moved by his speech, despite all these football theories and all that. So, you- Vincent, I think you are going to be a great man. And Africa, in Africa here, we cherish you because of what you are doing. And most common, famously here, you notice that even here in Kenya, we are very much proud of you. And I remember the Kenya Classification Board of Kenya, they, they were very, very proud of you. They even awarded you with an award, which is very commendable. Yes,
All right,
yes,
you like the social media expert,
yes,
Kasarim, and you saw the changes in the last couple of years that we started, and
yes.
like last year and this year. What would you rate when we see this kind of new, kind of clean content coming out? Usually, we see content that are not really in the Pan-African values supporting us. They support Western values and stuff like that. Like the TikTok is coming and everybody's just imitating. What do you think would be the future of this kind of clean content from young artists like him?
Yes, yeah, and I'd like to congratulate all these artists for what they are doing because of their clean content that they're promoting, especially through ads. You notice that Vincent Mseri content was very clean, very perfect, and I was even privileged to have other contents from great Africans like Obert Dube. This
Mhm,
guy from as a poet, is a poet.
mhm,
In fact, he's as a young poet from Zimbabwe. So we tried even to ensure that he grows and ensure that the spirit of Pan Africanism grows even to a greater extent. So clean content usually sells, and what Vincent told you is true because any person, even as a kid, can watch that video without even disturbing even the parents. So this is what we are hearing for Africa and even from the diaspora and or in the continent. Yes,
mhm. All right.
yes,
As this video went viral, because we're talking
yes,
about it's some kind of a responsibility for young people. That's why I was really excited, and I thought
yes,
we have to know the story behind this young guy. Why wouldn't he just do something else just to get followers or to get viewers or just to, monetize something like everybody's doing? Why would he particularly go on a clean content of the videos? that he's doing. Now, I thought my first impression was like, Africans, they like flashy and whatever. But when I saw that in just a couple of hours, it hit at 1K, I was like, wow. So probably we keep underestimating ourselves. Do you see that happening?
Yes, especially as we collaborate with the PLO Lumumba Foundation, the Pan-African Daily TV, with the PLO Lumumba Foundation, we'll notice that the main objective and the mission for the PLO Lumumba Foundation is to restore and promote pride of Africa, and also to ensure that young talents are being nurtured and ensure, especially when promoting and supporting Pan-Africanism. So, so I've discovered that what Vincent is doing is to ensure that that spirit of Pan-Africanism grows. Yes, and we also have as a Pan-African as one of the strategies of Pan-African Daily TV. We noticed that even we have this young Gambian guy, uh, Osman Toure. Osman Toure was, came up with this kind of a conversation, and I'm very glad that Professor PLO Lumumba tried to even nurture him. Yeah, it's part and parcel of the mentorship program here, as far as PLO Lumumba Foundation is concerned. Then we also have Mohammed Reda, and also other young talented Pan-Africanists, like even Amos Onyango. Amos Onyango is also growing, and we promote that kind of spirit. Yes.
Anyway, honestly, what do you think Professor PLO Lumumba would think of Vincent, seeing him getting in the footsteps of what he actually is advocating for? What kind of thing you think he would say? What would he say about Vincent?
Yes, yes. I think in my own observation is that Professor Pilumba wants great minds like Vincent Mseri and others to emulate him through pitches, especially using this kind of talent or art to promote and spearhead the spirit of Pan-Africanism. Yeah, speak more about corruption in different parts of Africa, especially which is most African countries are very corrupt. So what I'd like to advise Vincent is to try to change that conversation from football league to speaking about what's happening here in Africa, especially what's happening in Uganda currently, where there's too much kind of that kind of brutality, and also in some parts of southern Cameroon and Nigeria and even Zimbabwe. So you can change that narrative. Yeah, you'll discover that even here in Africa, we used to have these great legends like the Miriam Makeba. We used to have Fela Kuti. He was a musician, and in fact, he used his talent to promote as Pan-Africans by even fight through his content. He fought corruption in his country, in Nigeria. So, Vincent, it's up to you to change. You can also come up with your own ways of promoting that talent through speaking against what's happening here in the continent. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very pertinent. Like you said, if the continent, I mean, this is his three videos, and we can see already the fact that all eyes are on him, and particularly young Africans of the continent. So normally, this is a talent that we need to nurture and direct them in the cause of Pan-Africanism and the united Africa that we all advocating for. Osman Ture just came up from that level of scholars and started following that part. He's now a mentor. Exactly, we're also going to nurture Vincent in that part, just like all the other artists and all the young people that we've been having here on the platform. Patrick, one last thing that you mentioned about Amos. Was Amos not supposed to join us on the stream tonight?
Yes, yes. Although he was quite busy, quite was busy here and there, but I'm very sure that he might join later as you continue with the conversation. Yes.
All right. Okay, let me go back to Vincent. Vincent, what do you think? What future would you see? Like, are you gonna stay in this performing art, or you want to do something else apart from just this?
Well, I think I'm just going to be a performing artist because I was born one, and then I just have to die one. I also think when, as a matter of fact, despite of our problems as Africans, we're supposed to laugh at our problems.
Yes.
If you laugh at your problems, at some point they become easier to solve them. You see, that is and that is what I am bringing in. You see, for instance, I am not Professor PLO Lumumba, and I am only an artist using his voice to voice humor. And I can even decide if, let's say, for instance, if I pick content, let's say content in Uganda, I may decide to pick content in Uganda, despite of I want to speak about the troubles in Uganda, but I have to do it in a humorous way because that is my strength. I have to make people laugh about the problems in Uganda. I'll have to make people laugh about the problems in Nigeria. I'll have to make people laugh about the problems in South Africa and also in Gambia and wherever, because that is my strength. And I believe, because I'm also a happy person. I love laughing a lot.
What you do?
If you ask Professor PLO Lumumba to talk about laughter, he will tell you something like, laughter is medicine. But if you laugh, laughter with no reason requires medicine.
Of course. I mean, it's amazing how you put it. Of course, he's gonna say that exactly. Laughter with no reason is no medicine. Now, you mentioned something about COVID, and do you think Kenyans really would laugh about it, about the pandemic and even the consequences? Do you think something to what are the kind of jokes that we can do about COVID?
Well, mostly we were joking about quarantine. In fact, there were so many memes and jokes around quarantine and people being quarantined, and actually there were people who were in quarantine facilities who were isolated because they were positive, and they were creating videos that were going viral in our social media, joking about themselves, about whatever is happening. So Kenyans, we are not serious people. We are serious people, but we are not serious people at the same time. We just love to laugh about things, but it is therapeutic, I would say. It's not that we don't appreciate or we don't feel the pain of the pandemic, but we just feel it is better if we laugh about it. Because if you laugh about it, you can talk about it and feel free to talk about it. And it does not affect us, especially psychologically. Though it has really affected us in negative ways, and for many, including myself, it has affected me both negatively and positively. Because if it were not for the pandemic, I would not have been creating content online. I would have been performing on theaters, because that is where I was doing my thing. In theaters, we were shooting videos, and then all of a sudden when the pandemic came, we could not do all that. So we had to switch very fast. We had to adapt. There's a famous comedian in Kenya known as Eddie Butita, who was saying how to adapt or die, which it was true. We had to adapt. We started to create content, and the online space in Kenya concerning online content has really grown over the pandemic. Really grown. We have seen so many people who have come up, people we've never known, so many new artists. People have created platforms. People are earning online because of their content. So many people have done a great thing towards content creation because of the pandemic. So it is something that has affected people both negatively and positively.
Okay. I'm picking this call coming in. And yes, you can. The lines are open, as I already see. Somebody's been trying here to really get to us. I think he has really something important to say. Hello. On the show, I would check. All right. Okay. Think it was just a misplaced call. Good. Patrick,
Yes.
what is the way forward?
Okay. So from today's onwards, it's upon Vincent Mseri to tell us what is what what we'll be doing after this conversation, because the whole world is looking up to you to ensure that you are promoting this talent. We have just given you a platform where you can express yourself and ensure that this talent grows. And as it grows, ensure that just like Akon, legendary, this yeah, that from this artist, American artist, although from Africa, is try to emulate such kind of musicians because of what they are doing. So you can promote this talent through other avenues, like going to different part of Africa. And I believe that even Prof will assist you in different ways so that you can move forward. Yes.
Exactly. That's one of the questions in the chat, and that's what I was asking. What do you think Professor PLO Lumumba can do with a talent like this?
Yes. Yeah. For Prof will mentor you and become a very polished person so that you can help him move uh, this spirit forward, because this is just intergenerational activity, because you notice that as Prof grows older, then he should nurture younger generation. So like Vincent, what Vincent is doing. So I encourage Vincent Mseri to come up with another strategy on how he can uh, help Prof with this kind of spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Patrick. Thank you for joining us on the stream, and
Yes.
it has been a pleasure to have you here. Now that your connection is stable, I think we'll still have to have you to have another conversation on other issues on social media, and
Yes.
yes, and the politics on the continent and Pan Africanism. Thank you so much for being here.
Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, bye bye. Yeah. Um, we are still on the resilience and the brains of Africa, and we are watching Vincent Mseri, a young Pan-African from Kenya, who is a performing artist, and we want to know the story behind this young, great guy that is going viral at the moment for just being an impersonator of Professor PLO Lumumba's voice, or a mimic on that. Is this an avenue for young people on the continent to pick up, pick up what they have available? And one more thing, it's not just about us talking about things that only make us laugh, but it's also about the situation on the continent. Vincent, if we look at Kenyans, do you think that you control young people on the continent, or even Kenyans control their country?
Well, I don't think young Kenyans control their country. Our country is controlled by cartels. I'm sorry to say, but it's not
Not
about.
sorry, it's okay. Just be
Yeah,
direct and tell us the way
yeah.
it is.
It's not. Well, young people are not really in control in Kenya. We are just there. We're just there. Most of the time, we're just there to be seen. We just do our stuff. We don't control the political space, of which the political space is a very important aspect in the growth of a nation.
Mhm.
But we have few young people in the political space who are trying. But you see, like for instance, in Kenya, we have something called they call quotes and quotes the deep state. They call it the deep state. We have cartels. We have generations and generations of people who have inherited leadership positions. So you realize that the leadership is somehow so technical to let's say to it's so technical to fight, if you may, because it is led it is so deep rooted. And as young people, I guess we tire very fast. When we try, and then we see there's a lot of things that you don't really like, and they're pushing you here and there. Just quit and decide to just do your thing. If you're a comedian, just do your comedy. Make people laugh. Just make people laugh. If I do music, I do my music. Listen to my music. But I'll not want to be in politics. That's why when you asked me if I wanted to be the president, I first laughed because politics in Kenya is not something one would really like to. It's not a really good venture for one to want to pursue. It's a bit dirty.
Yes, apart from being a politician, apart from young people being, of course, the political space is what influence the policies and that are existing on the Kenyans and determine job creation or opportunities and influence even the economy particularly. But apart from just politics, like you say, we want to look at the African that works for African. When we look at the land, the governments have taken land from local people and they own it. And the local people have never been able to have these lands back. That is an issue, though it's politically rooted. But of course, when we look at the continuity and the existence of Kenyans and Africans on the continent in general, but we're talking in this case study, Kenya, do you think it's reasonable to just ignore or give up?
No, the land question in Kenya actually is a very pertinent issue that needs to be discussed, though it really raises some emotions in many because it is a sensitive topic that Kenyans have really been trying to fight for. We have a lot of land grabbing. We have a very corrupt land commission, of which they are really trying, but still there's a lot to be discussed about the land issue in Kenya. And I also, but it is something that really has to really people need to champion for, especially young people, if they can decide using our creative minds. We don't have to fight. You can just use our intellect. You can just use our creativity. You can use our art. You can use our art to express the oppression when it comes to land grabbing. Because I'm an artist, I can develop concepts that speak about such injustices. For instance, on an artist side, we usually have the Kenya National Drama Festivals, where we talk about emerging issues affecting our country, and you get a lot of productions, very brilliant productions, speaking about the lives of the people in Kenya. But the problem is, in the Kenya National Drama Festival, after it has been aired, and after it has been people are performed in the Kenya National Drama Festival, it ends there. That is the problem. After the performances and the competition, which is a nationwide thing, it ends there. The messages, all the productions, they just end there. And all these issues that these artistic minds were discussing, they don't ever get to see a green day. See? So it becomes a cycle. We perform as artists, we forget about it. We perform as artists, we forget about it, but our nation still remains the same. But I believe there is still hope. There's still hope. The more we keep on talking about our problems, I guess the more people see the need to fight for them.
Exactly. I think I see with you, and I want to thank all the viewers that are watching us, and your positive feedbacks and comments is very, very amazing what you're writing here. Most of the comments are picky to be able to throw back the question to him so he can actually answer and give us, I see here the quantity of music coming out of Nigeria are mostly Christian music. The artists lost their sense of cultural belief and love for their tradition. Yes, we see that in the field of performance. If we don't have a vision, if we don't have an orientation of the values that we as African people stick to, for instance, the Western religion of Jesus Christ, for instance, and the Bible and the church and stuff like that. These are all instruments that have actually kept us so on a kind of a brainwash, and we keep always hoping. Like a performance artist, like the question on the audience is, what is it that will make the difference? Taking the Western centric agenda and performing just to create, or actually putting this kind of clean content, like you're saying, in the values that reflect us as a people to pass a message?
I guess the problem lies only in the mindset of not only the artists themselves, but also the consumers of the art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you see, the Africans themselves are not consuming their own content.
Correct.
So people are forced to do something that is internationally recognized so that Africans can appreciate their content. See, and that is the problem. I guess the problem lies within ourselves. It's not even about the artists themselves. It's just about within ourselves as content. It's a mentality. It's a mentality that the Western people are better than us in so many ways. Yet it's not true. It's not true. In fact, as Professor PLO Lumumba says so many times in his speeches, we have the greatest artists are from Africa, the greatest footballers, the greatest sportsmen are from Africa. You see, but the mentality that we have to westernize ourselves so that we can sell, that is a problem. Or we have to westernize ourselves so that we can fit in. You see, that is a problem. That is a problem, which I am not so sure how it can be handled. But I guess it's just with time. The more we talk about these issues, the more people open up their minds and see that there's no better race. There's no better human being than the other. We are all equal. We all have our weaknesses. We all have our strengths. So there is no one who should dictate your lifestyle to conform to their own way of thinking. See? And there was a time there was someone who was saying that including our education system was crafted in a way that will make Africans remain behind. And
Correct.
we see it for quite a long time without knowing. And we thought it's the right education system, but it was only meant to brainwash us and make Africa a nation that remains behind. But there is green light finally. Finally, we have people talking about this. We can see it. We can create art out of it. We can sing about it. And we are moving at a great pace.
That is beautiful. I like that. I like that point of view. It's very sad, but we're beginning a new year and we call it for us the Pan-African or the African Consciousness Year, in which we know that the kind of content and the kind of viewers, or not viewers, guests that we'll be having here, guests that actually know what they want and what we want for the Africa that we all desire or aspire to create. So we're not going to be mixing, we make compromises, as a matter of fact. So we are also looking forward for young artists like you with huge followers and people looking at you as role models to produce this kind of decolonizing context, the content that actually, if I want to joke, to be honest with you, we have just so many things to joke about on the continent that keeps us so focused and are distracted on anything out there. So we're looking forward to your collaboration, to your cooperation, because it's like we're on a mission to educate and liberate our people. And there's no better way that we can do it by using what we have, by using who we are. We want to step back out of the ring from all these political agendas and Western Eurocentric agendas on the continent. We want to stay focused on who we are, use what we have to get what we want. And that's the only way that Africa would be liberated. There is no chance that we'll be doing the same thing, promoting their agendas, and then thinking that we can be liberated. That's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So we really look forward to you, and we thank you and congratulate really the much work that you're putting out there, and particularly just 3 videos that you produce, isn't it?
Well, I have quite a number, but these are the most watched with the PLO Lumumba impersonation, because I do also other impersonations and other forms of art, including music and theater and acting. But so, as you said, personally, I feel that this is a platform that I hold so dear, because I think if we can unite Africans as artists, or artists can really help to unite Africans, if we can sing about our problems, if we can talk about our problems as artists, if we can create content that speaks about the African continent, sorry, it can be a great revolution, because artists are very powerful. For instance, music is very powerful, comedy is very powerful, acting is very powerful. If we can only unite artists in Africa and let them speak with one agenda to foster Pan-Africanism, it will be a great revolution. And you can start the conversation right now, anywhere, anytime we start speaking about it, how can artists unite in Africa, collaborations, and speak about the spirit of Pan-Africanism. And I believe it will go so far and wide.
Absolutely. Because it was I was so disappointed in December. Honestly speaking, I was so disappointed. I mean, I felt demotivated. I mean, you look at Africans posing with Santa Claus. You begin to ask yourself, the whole social media, are they not just doing it? What have we been doing here for 1 year talking about this? When is it that we would really wake up? And when this December period and all these pagan kind of worships and stuff that we're about, you see the action of too much work that we still have to do. I mean, I thought that we really were making a lot of progress, but when I saw all this content put out there by Africans and people celebrating and just making all this, I like, oh my goodness, we have a long way to go. Do you have that feeling as well? Vincent?
Well, I do. You know, my father, my dad was privileged to study in the United States of America. And yeah, while he was there, he used to be a black Santa.
Okay.
Yeah. And he used to be a black Santa, and the kids really loved him because they have never seen a black person being a Santa Claus. But the thing that there was a time he was telling us when it was during the Christmas season, and the children would come and greet him. A kid will greet him and then will do like this to see if the color from my dad has been smeared on his or her hand. So it was funny, but I would say because of courtesy of him, I've managed to open up my mind on such things. I know how some things are only just some Western culture or something which does not really make sense, and it doesn't have to, but it's, I guess the problem is there is no knowledge. People don't know the knowledge behind such things. They don't know the history behind such things. if you can also educate people on the history of these things, it is something that needs to be done gradually, slowly and slowly. It will take years and years and years, but eventually, who knows, we'll get there.
Mhm. Okay, good. Of course, yes, you're right. We have to. We would move on. We would go step by step, but we don't have time. Honestly, we need to move at the speed of light. The world is not sleeping. COVID just came and woke us up and make us understand. Even if you watch the Facebook messages or your WhatsApp messages, before you scroll one, another one is coming in. So we don't have time. We need to catch up with the space and time, and educate ourselves more, not just only teaching people but researching. A lot of young people have to go on, they have all the platforms to research before you follow something, an idea, before you even follow the Pan-African Daily TV. Find out what are the aims of objective, what do this platform represent. Does it fit to my value? Do I want a progressive Africa? Then I follow. It's not just follow like we say we have as followers and ask people to subscribe when you are not producing or giving any content that makes sense out there. So I think it is the new year and we're starting this platform with you. The lines are open, ladies and gentlemen. The lines are open. If you have a question for Vincent, or you have a remark, or you have, a point that you want to actually focus on, we are talking about the resilience and the brains, the young brains on the continent, and we're discussing at this moment the incredible story of this young artist on the continent that is going really viral. We want to use artists like this. We want to use people that young people are orientating to them, to be able to be the change agents of the Africa that we want. So people that we see that the most followed, even if they're not doing what is in our content, we would have to get them on board to start influencing what the generation that we want to build for Africa now. Yes. So from now, like Kasarim said, what is your way forward? How can we reach out to you? Do you have some projects that you say, okay, now I'll be doing, or you want to produce more clean content? How often do you want to produce that? You're going to stay on the ball?
Well, because it has been such an abrupt collaboration, what I've jotted down and I think and I have planned to do is produce more content that fosters the spirit of Pan-Africanism, and try and make do a lot of research on problems facing different nations, not only in Kenya, because I know in Kenya we have a lot of problems that you can talk about, but for the sake of the global audience, if I can try and get as much as I can to talk about in my content, of course, in a humorous way, I can never leave that behind. That is what I plan to do, and of course, collaborating with PLO Lumumba Foundation, I honestly think that we can spread this agenda as artists here in Kenya. With my colleagues whom I know, I can call them on board so that we can start speaking about this. That we can start speaking about this in our platforms, in our social media platforms, in all areas of our lives as artists. And we can also collaborate with the same artists to create content that can foster the spirit of Pan-Africanism. Because we have brilliant actors and actresses and artists in Kenya who can do such a thing, and I think they are only waiting for such a platform. So if such a platform is given to them, they will not disappoint.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you for that spirit, because yes, we are going to go on, and like we're saying, we need more space, more platforms like this. You talk something about politics that people are tired. Maybe it's the format. Is the format that we approach that makes us tired. Now we want alternatives, and what you're actually proposing or bringing on the table is one of the alternatives that we see. We can shut down that political systems by just doing something else, and and informing our people and educating them and take their hands off dirty politics that doesn't work for them. We really can make these kind of leaders, these corrupt leaders, irrelevant, really make them irrelevant. We don't need to protest or would be killed. That is not what we're going to be doing in 2021. But we're just going to make them irrelevant by not giving our vote to them, by not speaking with them, by not following what they ask us to do. You understand? And it's exactly what you're trying to say. If we deviate them and navigate them in another direction, no one is going, they're going to be working for themselves and their damn families. They're not going to be working for the people, of course, whom they don't have that interest. So I think that point was very relevant. And let me pick up this call and we get the conversation going. Hello. Good evening, Papa Kofi. Welcome to the show. How you doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, the same of everyone.
Yes.
I hope that we are well and we meet together one more time again in this very good year.
Yes.
So it's amazing that you started to
Of course.
Anyway, you shouldn't worry about the call. We still move on with it. Yeah, we still move on with it because this program is our program. And no matter how it is, we will make this program to be the place which it deserves to be. You know? And I'm on.
Yes, you're live, Papa Kofi. We've missed you. That's why I'm just listening.
Okay. You know, the man just talking about something about our culture, all those stuffs. And our culture, or what my opinion, and all the time what I say, until we African understand that we must use our language for everything. If we didn't use our language, we used to do what we need to do, it's really impossible to educate our people for them to know that to give value, which our nation needs. Because if you speak someone, if you speak to somebody else, a kid, that your country has some value with different tonnage of language, which that language is not come from the place. How the way the kid will understand you that what you are talking is true? It won't be possible.
True.
So for we to move on in our culture, for we to develop our nation, we need to develop our language as the way the Asians do it. We can see from these Chinese people that they come to our nation to embarrass our nation. We can see that.
Yeah.
No, you can't never see any Chinese man talk other language than Mandarin or other dialects they have. What we and you and the other guys we are so lovely to speak English, French, Portuguese, and all those stuffs. And we said, no, our language is dialect or local dialect. See some displaced, some kind of displacement, you know, all those things. So it is very important for you to know that, for you to move forward in this generation, for you to give good, foundation for the next generation coming. We must defend our language. We must to start to teach our language in our schools, teach our stories in schools, and forget about West education in our schools. Because all these kind of liars which they come to lie us, they will can't know that all these are liars. They take the story upside down. So now we must show our youth that no, we have value. We have value. You know, so how we manage to do that? It all depends upon us, because no one can ever come in our nation to develop our nation for us.
Correct.
It depends upon who. If we don't do, nobody else will do. And anyone who will come there to do it, they will come there to fuck up on wood. You must know that. You must really know that any white man who comes to Africa to say, no, am I your friend? It's the same rule which in Africa, the same route which Belgian people do in Africa, the same route even the last ones which France and British do. When they come to beat us up just. But at the end of the day, when them see a place to sit down, well, if there we will know that who is friend and who is not a friend. Our nation use our nation money to buy ammunition to kill our own peoples. Why? Why our people must? Those days, they say that our forefathers are not get knowledge because they are no school. That's why the British, the Europeans don't them buy ammunition, send human beings. Today, this president will get passed even in Europe, and they are still taking ammunition with the nation money. And even for the children are not get paid. Come on, pay what I told you. And they use the nation money to buy ammunition. What do you buy ammunition for? How can you develop a nation with buying ammunition for someone else? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I will let my long speak here.
Thank you very much for calling in, Papa Coffee. Thank you so much. Yeah. Stay healthy with your family. Yeah, bye. Good. Yes. I mean, he's talking about cultural values, and we look at language is one of the unique and one of the, I mean, we can't say it more. We say that on the Pan-African Daily TV on daily basis, and we're going to continue to say it because we know at what point are we starting now. But we know that Kenya and East Africa, you guys are really dope. You have your Swahili, right?
Yes. Well, when he says that well, you know, Africa is very rich in language, unlike other continents. So it is almost practically impossible to teach our children with each and every language. You see, there will be a language barrier. So we need to have a common language, even if it's, let's say, for instance, in Africa. If you can have a common language in Africa, the way we have a common language in East Africa, that can work. But as individual nations to teach their children about, you can only teach them about their culture, but you cannot teach them specifically to only speak their language. They will not be, they cannot understand other people. So it will be difficult. So you teach them about their culture and teach them about their language, but at the same time, you teach them a language that they can use to communicate to other tribes and other nations, and including worldwide.
All right. Let's pick up this next call. Hello. Hello.
I'm fine, thank you so much. My name is Mary. I'm calling in UK.
Yes.
And today I'm very happy because of the discussion you're having. And I have some. Hello? Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you, Mary. We're just listening.
Yeah. Yeah, so the motion today is very good, and I'm very happy. And I'm watching in UK, actually. You have been motivating me because of the way you're encouraging, like, us people who are in diaspora, and seeing us, Africa, coming out together is the best thing, actually. And I have, like, so, yeah. So we have like something like we wanted to check if when we are relocating back to Africa.
Yes.
Like we have some land, me and my husband, and we are looking like those people who wanted to go back and they don't have maybe something like a land or like a resources. So we can do something together to make our continent at least rich again. So
yes.
In case anybody who is willing to come, or maybe I can give us my contact and they are willing to go back and we do something like a farming. It's the best thing because we are going to create another opportunity for young generation who are lacking some job. I'm from Kenya actually, so I understand very well. Like it's very hard the way everyone is saying there's no job, but we can create on our own.
Correct.
So the thing is, We have like a 20 acres in Tanzania, me and my husband. My husband is from Tanzania as well. So, and we were thinking if we can have like this initiative, like having a chicken or something like that, like doing farming, we are going to create a very big opportunity for also other people who want to go back or relocate and they don't know where to start.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, so that's what I can say for now. So thank you very much for giving me this chance, and I can put my number in case anyone who wants to contact me later or anything, something like that. That will be great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mary. I have your number. Is this the number that I'm seeing on the display?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Fine. Okay. Because we'll be coming up also with collaborative seminars, particularly on agriculture. It's really one of the biggest sector that we want to engage Africans or even the diaspora is going to the Gambias, to Ghana, to Tanzania, to Kenya, and all those places. Everyone wants to focus on agriculture. Why? Because agriculture, we all have heard it. We know it's going to be the currency, the world currency in just a few years, and we know that Africa would feed the world. But now the question is, who will feed the world on the behalf of Africans? So that is one of the major problems or challenges that Africans must pick up, because when we look at statistically, 60% of arable land is found in sub-Saharan Africa. That is the biggest potential. We cannot even talk about politics and talk about everything. That's why the situation of the land in Kenya is a very big issue that we also have to focus on. Politics or whatever, we're working with the kings, and we want to work with the kingdoms because they own the lands. And so our people can go back and farm. We can collaborate. We can work together to actually push this sector forward. What is your opinion on that, Vincent?
Well, I think agriculture is something that we really need to venture into, especially, let's say, in Kenya. The problem in Kenya, young people don't like engaging in agriculture. In fact, they stereotype it as a dirty job, and that is the problem that comes with education. It is a connection between the let's say the formal education and what the young people feel they should do or should not do. The fact that I have gone to the university, I have my degree, I have my diploma, I have my master's, how can I go back to farming? That is the mentality, and it's the reasoning that people really need to change. And also, I guess the government needs to create more or better policies, better land policies. It is something that people really need to champion for, so that we can focus on agriculture, because agriculture is something that the world is really looking towards Africa for, because our land is very rich. Our land is very rich. That's why we have Chinese and everyone coming back to Africa. They truly want what is in Africa. And the greatest heritage or the greatest resource that we have as Africans, it is our land and our agriculture. And if we can focus, if we can only focus on such, I believe Africa will be in a better place globally.
Of course, yes, we have to, because we first, that's one of the sectors that the world is coming to engage in Africa this time. They're not going to be focused so much on minerals. They already have it. They've been digging it for long. But agriculture, because food, I mean, food, no one would exist without food. If we look at all the supermarkets, and now we're even talking about the digital world. So food is even going to be repackaged and digitalized. And so all this, Africa has the chance that we're still going organic. We still have our farms, even though we have this pesticides and genetically modified food. But we know that in our villages and how our ancestors and our parents who raised us up, they never took that channel. So we want to go back. We want to go back. You said something about the stereotyping of farming. Of course, um, when people don't want you to get into success, they will always make that sector look as ugly. But that's the biggest sector that the world is living upon. And that has just been another lie, just like they've always lied us about the education that we have. We're just studying the Western culture, about our religion. We're just worshiping their white Jesus. About every other thing that we've been doing has always been a lie. It's always been a lie. Same thing, like they've made agriculture look like it's just for the poor. But the richest people, even in Europe that we are farmers. They're the richest sectors, because you go to the supermarket, who's the one supplying? And people eat and every day. They cannot live without food. And you can package food in every kind of format. In Africa, we still waste even tomatoes that we cannot transform into tomato paste. We waste everything because we don't have the capacity to store and to transform this food that we have. So agriculture is the key, is the focus. We can talk about technology and language and education and every other thing, but we need to feed ourselves first. Once we secure the food security, and then we can talk about every other thing. So I see that as a huge potential, because I see thousands of Kenyans watching from the Professor PLO Lumumba page. I want to tell you, I want to encourage you, do not focus on anything. The Chinese are coming to own your farms and your lands. How much more can we say this again? They're coming into the villages. They're not going to do politics. They're not going to meet your leaders. They're going to your chiefs and taking your farms. And at the end of the day, everything that you'll be eating in Kenya, everything that we'll be eating on the continent will be made by China in Africa. How absurd is this? We need to wake up. How many times are we going to say this? Vincent, can you say it in Swahili?
Sorry?
Can you make this point in Swahili to address Kenyans that are watching you, that agriculture is the sector in which we all have to engage in?
I say it in Swahili.
Say it in Swahili, please.
Okay, nafikiri kwamba vile mmekuwa mkisikia ni kwamba sekta ya kilimo ni sekta ambayo tunafaa tuzingatie sana sisi kama Wakenya, kwa sababu Wachina wanakuja Kenya kuchukua mashamba yetu, wanakuja corrupt our agricultural system ambayo tumejaribu kuiprotect for quite a while, na sisi wenyewe tunajua kama Wakenya vile tumekuwa tukiteseka. Si mahindi yametoka wapi, si mchele ya plastic, si fish imetoka China. And we wonder why are we getting these things outside, yet tuna produce zetu hapa nyumbani. I guess it's something that we need to really focus on and we champion for, to protect what is ours, because they are coming for it. Wanakujia
Kenyans, okay? And Africans, please grab your land and hold them jealously. Thank you very much, Vincent. It has been a wonderful pleasure to be with you. We will always continue to have you on this platform. And like you've heard from the viewers and the commentators and even those your followers that are watching you, everybody is damn proud about you. And it's no coincidence that we're starting on the Pan-African Daily TV 2021. You and everybody that has always started the year with us, hey, it's a wonderful resource and a potential. So we thank you so very much. And please take this message back to your followers. And we want to work together to gather every influencer on the continent and in the diaspora to build the Africa that we want. It is not impossible. It is damn possible. And we're starting it tonight. So one last word for your audience before we separate from you.
Well, maybe if I can tell them in the voice of the one who has brought me here. Where ignorance is perfect bliss, it is foolish to be wise. That's just it.
Thank you, thank you so very much. Yes, thank you so very much, Vincent. It's been a pleasure being here.
Yeah.
And we would like to have you anytime soon again on this platform to continue, yeah, with the same journey. Thank you. Okay. Yes. Good night and stay safe and healthy.
All right. Good
Vincent,
night. And thank
bye.
you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Yes. Wow. Good. Dear followers, dear Pan-African, we are almost coming up to the end of this program, and I just wanted us to look at the way forward and what is coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna have a very prominent scholar. Tomorrow is gonna be more serious. Today was serious, of course, but when I say it's gonna be more of an academic topic, and we want to dissect the Africa Free Trade Continental Area, which was launched yesterday officially by the Africa Union. You all had seen the speeches and the countries that come in collectively to sign that agenda. Now, we want to inform ourselves about what is going on. What is going on? What are the conditions under which this free trade continental free trade area is going to operate? We already know that Ghana and the ECOWAS is championing this course, and the president of Ghana is actually the chairman of this continental free trade area. But we actually don't really know what it means. Most people are asking questions: how beneficial is this going to be for Africans? And Ghana is actually a strategical turning point in the history and the way forward for Pan-Africanism and Africans, and particularly the diaspora. And a lot of projects are going to come out from that point: East Africa, West Africa, or East or West Africa, or, as we can say, or North. But particularly at this time, when Africa is opening its borders without setting, we still know that there are active wars going on the continent. We still know that there are a lot of people still being unjustly locked up in prisons and dungeons on the continent. We understand that the issue of even education and I don't know, political agendas, good governance. So many Africans and people are asking, what is actually the benefit of opening up our borders? Of course, we know that it's going to help into trade among us Africans, but really, how relevant is the Africa Free Trade Continental Area to Africans? Remember, how relevant is this going to help us? Tomorrow, we're going to have a guest, Femi Akinyi, who is one of the greatest economic scholars that we have on this topic. He's going to be telling us the need and the importance and the opportunities, and also the challenges that this project or the way forward for Africa is going to be to us. We want to inform ourselves, we want to educate ourselves, we want to get more strategic and quality information from experts. So please join us tomorrow on this exclusive one-on-one with Femi Akinyi. He had been on the show with Professor James Small here, and we talked about the passing away of JJ Rawlings, and I think most of you know him. But he's one of the greatest economists, and that is really focused on this topic, and we want to get more knowledge from him. Yeah, we want to get more knowledge from him. It was also a pleasure for us to start the year with our young people. You know why? Like I was just saying, they have to get an orientation. We've been doing a lot of professional education here, and sometimes they just miss the sector, they miss the niche, they miss the orientation. And as a matter of fact, it's a daily thing. We can start talking on the Pan-African Daily TV and inspiring our people. We have seen how much we have achieved in 2020, and imagine if we double and triple our efforts every evening, sitting here and just mentoring to ourselves. That is one of the biggest key factor. From my own point, if I see the feedbacks and I hear and I get texts every day, how the Pan-African Daily TV, us as a big family, has changed a lot tremendously in the past months, I can only imagine that we're going to double and triple our steps, and we're going to achieve more. Yes, join me tomorrow with Femi Akinyi on this topic, the Africa Free Trade Continental Area, What is it that we want to know? Opportunities, chances, challenges, and way forward for Africa on this topic. We know that it's going to be a continuous process, and we already see what the African Union is anticipating in this sector: the budget, the revenues, the creation of jobs, for instance, how it's going to boost up into trade, creating the private sector to get engaged with one another. But of course, I always would not mention these things on the continent without talking about my diaspora. My diaspora. My diaspora is where my heart leads. These are the people I really want to get home with me. From the Caribbeans to the Brazil to the European Africans to, I mean, I don't know, to West Guinea. These are all the people I just want to put them on a boat, on flight, and we all go back home. That is my focus. And so when I see an opportunity like this coming up on the continent, please, diaspora, wake up. The Africa Free Trade Continental Area, irrespective of what kind of challenges are going to come, this is the game changer forever on the continent. Remember, it is the first time in history that we are already collapsing the borders in terms of trade. Now imagine, this is the beginning of collapsing even the physical and the mental borders that we have in our minds. So please don't take it as for granted. It is a big opportunity, and we're not just going to handle this topic once. Remember, this is the decade for us, and this decade is coming with this project, and so a lot would follow. We'll be actually talking on this point regularly on the Pan-African Daily TV. We want to keep an eye, we want to keep a focus on the Africa Free Trade Continental Area and how it's going to boost the economy of Africa and how Africans should profit in every little way to be a part of this initiative and a part of this milestone that is going to stay on the continent for long. Good. 2021, we're also going to focus a lot on our spirituality, the science of African spirituality. What am I talking? We're just going back to our religion. We're going back to our consciousness, because that's where we left anyway. We're going back to the places that we left, our ancestors left the continent, that journey. We know Ghana is one of the spots, but we also know that slaves were being taken in Limbe in Cameroon. We know that slaves were being taken in Senegal and in the Gambia where Kunta Kinte was taken. We know that even in Tanzania. We know all those roads. We want to map them all, and we go back through that same process. So it's very important that our reinitiation, we have to pave back the way to our people, even if it's just a journey for you to come and get your ancestral blessings. Please don't miss the chance to do that. In 2021, there's going to be a lot of projects on that. There's going to be a lot of initiative on that, and I look forward to it. All these are milestones that have been laid down by our leaders. All what we were talking in 2020, they just had been working on it, and we're going to open marvelous doors in 2021 to navigate our people back, to bring skills and knowledge and to get healing, endless healing, to be back the people that we were meant to be. Remember, most of us just look black. Most of us talk black, but our mindset is still actually oriented. Like I said, I really was so disappointed in December when I still see Africans posing with Santa Claus or white Santa Claus and making all this thing. We still have a long way to go. We still really have a long way to go. And it starts with each and every one of us sitting down and putting down whatever initiatives that we have to push our people into waking up. The modus is already activated. All we need to do is keep sparking up, and I know we'll get there. Imagine when we fall back into sleep. I don't think we'll ever wake up again. We'll pass away, right? Good. Yeah, I see people asking a lot of questions here about the platform. Yes, the AfroWorld.tv app is our new social media Pan-African platform. And the app is available on App Store, but just only for Android users. Like I said, in 2021, we're working on the iOS. That's for iPhone users. But those of you that are Android users, you can already go on and download this app and start connecting. We have a lot of people that Africans that are already navigating and are doing a lot of business and putting their products out there. Never mind, it is slow. Any other thing is slow. It is a new platform that we had a lot of setbacks creating this platform, but it is live and active and available. It is live and active and available. As a matter of fact, what I'll be doing in a couple of months coming is to produce the tutorials on each of the applications that we have on the app. So to get you connected, to get you updated, to get you sell your products, to get you connect with all. And we're going to have the whole continent is representing on that app. That's one of the biggest platforms that we know. Our unity should be visible, should be visible. We speak about it. We talk about it. Now we've heard it. We see it. We want to get active to it. Yes. All the faculties of communication, that's what we would get. So I think I've been able to answer this question a couple of times. I know a lot of people say, would have put up the links there, www.afroworld.tv. If you just even want to sign in without getting on the app, if not, you go to that app, you're going to see afroworld.tv. When you see afroworld.tv, please just download it and start getting engaged and connecting with your people. We would see a lot coming up this year. Believe me, there's just going to be a lot happening in our lives as Black people, as African people, or melanated people. There's just going to be a lot. I also would be touring to meet you face to face, not just talking behind the cameras and seeing you there. I want to visit Silva in the Caribbean. And I want to visit Kofi in America, even though he's from Ghana. I want to visit Ghana. And so there's just going to be a lot of projects that we would be meeting now. Very soon, the lockdown is going to be history and the world is going to go back to business. And so we Africans also would be going back to business. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of input to do. And we have a lot of money, money is slipping on the continent that we've never ever realized. And it's time for us to go grab it. I want to thank the sister from UK that called and is looking for collaborators. Now you heard her. If any of you interested in saying we're moving to Kenya and want to invest in farming, they have already the land. Contact us. We're going to put you through to the sister from the UK that just called. Apart from that, any of you that are looking to collaborate in any sector, now I know I owe you a lot of answers. I know most of you that are watching me, we have our nurses out there that even are putting their property on sale because they want to relocate back. We have a lot of business initiatives that have been started or that were started, and people are just waiting for the lockdown and whatever is coming to open up, and a lot would be going on to the continent. I want to thank you so very much for tuning in and for being conscious. We're not going to get everybody at the same time, but those of us that have made it, it is our duty and responsibility to get all the others on board. Be aware of the fact that every signs and symbols that we see reminds us only how much work we need to do to get ourselves together as a united people, but also to get ourselves together as unique people. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow on the Pan-African Daily TV on this topic, the African Free Trade. Somebody's asking a question. I deliberately worked Christmas Day last week on my house. All right, that's fine. That's cool. Kwame, I hear you. Kofi, you say a beautiful queen. We have enjoyed you here today. We love you. I love you all so much, Kofi. I know that so much. Koboko, thank you for moderating. And even though the likes and the chats were not that very impressive, but I understand. It's the first opening. Yesterday we missed the show. We missed the show, and I don't know. I was just lazy. Yesterday was the first. And of course, yes, but it's because the guest that we ought to have had yesterday is whom we're taking in tomorrow. Femi could not make it yesterday for one reason or the other. And so we just like, all right, let's just lazy out the first and we taking it back. It has not been anything special. I don't celebrate transit or whatever. I do it for the purpose of those who say, because for me, all these days are nothing but a scam. What is the difference between 2 days ago and today? So we can always start. Every day can be a new year in our life. It's a mindset. It's still the same things that we keep talking about. All this pagan worship, New Year, this. It doesn't make any difference. You need to be unique. Every day you can make a change. Every day can be your new year. Every day you can make resolutions for your life. Every day you can, when you sleep and wake up the next day, it gives you an opportunity for a new year or a new day. So please let us think further and let us act active and let us keep, being not distracted and being moderated and being functional people as the rules and boundaries that have been put in our heart. I send you love to all of you today. Asante sana to all of you today. And I say in my dialect, Miyaka. Miyaka means thank you so very much. And I say it in the dialect of Tumi and Iya, Beriwo. Beriwo also means thank you so very much for being here tonight. And we are going to see us tomorrow. Please be on time. I will be on time. I want to thank all of you watching from Kenya. It has been a pleasure to host your guest tonight, and we would be rotating as usual. Tomorrow we're going to Nigeria. The guest is from Nigeria, but it's based in the United States, and so we're going to be doing our tours to the Caribbean, to Brazil, to Jamaica, and all our people out there in the diaspora. We have just started. Tomorrow we're going to host him. Monday we might have a break. Oh, some people are saying, no, we already have too much break. But watch out for the program coming up on the Pan-African Daily TV. I have enjoyed every part of it being here again today. And I love you. Stay healthy, and we see us tomorrow. Please make a research on the Africa Free Trade Continental area. The fact that we're going to have a guest doesn't mean that we're just going to sit and say, and they're going to tell us anything. No. Right tonight, jot down your points, jot down your questions. What is it that you don't understand? And what is it that the guest might miss out that you also want to expatiate and give us more knowledge? I look forward to working and seeing us again tomorrow. Another time. I love you all. Good night. Bye-bye. Stay healthy. Bye.